I spoke about this before in a previous audio, speaking particularly to the men in regards to choosing a proper mate, thinking about the struggle, thinking about keeping what they worked hard for. And I feel I need to talk about it again because I'm coming across more and more people. And this time I just want to address it to everybody. I just use the men as an example because I hear a lot of this from men, but I hear it a lot from women too now. Anyone who has worked hard for something, educationally, financially, or whatever, anything that you put a lot of time and effort into, be it education, a business, or anything that you committed yourself to, and you're reaping the harvest for it. It's very, very important. If you're in a mode where you want to share your world with somebody, you got to be careful who you share it with. You know, um, I'm not going to go too much into detail in regard to that. You might want to go into the playlist and pull up that audio when I talk to the men about choosing who you bring home, in regards to who you share your bounty with. But I want to talk a little bit about um, how you project yourself in business, because sometimes people, even though they are successful, there are some simple things in their personality that they need to address in order to be taken more seriously in their craft. And let me go into detail about that because it's kind of hard for me to explain. I can think it, but maybe if I tell you a little bit of a story, it'll help you understand where I'm coming from. This is just a hypothetical. This is like a combination of experiences I've been exposed to, so it's not one particular situation. Okay. Um, there's a woman who has a business, interior decorating, um, and known her for a very long period of time. Um, Came from a very, very poor background, large family, struggled to get into college, went to college, got an arts degree, went on went on to Interior Design Arts Academy, went to a Graduate Arts Academy, got an art certificate specializing in interior arts design, went abroad and went to a European school and got a specialist arts degree, and was able to work uh, with designers, worked in the fashion industry for a very short period of time, felt that was not her niche, and fell in love with specialty designs, and decided she was going to go into business for herself, specializing in commercial design. And she did this and didn't pay too much attention to her personal life for a long period of time. And then finally, when she got into her mid-40s, she decided she wanted to settle down and have a family, have children. Biological clock is ticking a little bit. So she started exploring the option for artificial insemination, that type of thing. But the list was so long, the expenses were so high, and also trying to, think about the aspect of raising a child alone. That didn't solve the loneliness problem. So she started to go on dating sites and that type of thing and started dating different types of people. But, left, six-figure lifestyle, being able to travel, come and go as she pleases. And she attracted people that were like her. However, she attracted a lot of people who wanted the lifestyle. But in business, she did well, but she could have done a little bit better. There's a part of her that didn't want to accept the word no. And she couldn't keep any reliable people in her business because she was lowballing herself all the time. She was always accepting projects that were below her station. Now, I'm not saying this to be stuck up. I'm saying this because she had had certifications and licenses, a mile long. That alone should allow her to bid competitively, to charge competitively for her services and products. She was a minority woman. She had certifications because she was a minority woman. She had received grants. She had received special priority on certain projects because she was a minority female business. Because of that, she always wanted to be the cheapest one on the block because she wanted she wanted everybody to say yes to her. She was afraid of somebody saying no. When you're in a market where you have to compete and bid, you don't understand that the people that you are competing and bidding to, they have 20 or 30 other people that they're looking at as well. You're not the only one. And their reason for choosing you may not just be because of the bid. There could be other aspects involved as to why they didn't choose you. It could be where they're looking for other things. They could be looking for certain time frames. They could be looking for the size of the company. They could be looking for the location. Where are you located? They want to look at, do you have enough of a workforce? The time frame, the budget that they have, is it willing to accommodate? Is your bid too low? Because some places they look at your bid and they see that it's too low, and they're questioning. They're like, wait a minute, they're charging way too low. What's the problem? They'll question the quality of it if it's too low. Why are you so desperate? Why are you so low? Why don't you have anything to do? There's a question on that. I know when I travel, and I know a lot of you already know that I do travel. I book travel part time. And my years experience as as an experienced traveler, I don't get the cheapest room. Never have. I mean, back in the day I did when I didn't know any better. But now that I have experience, I never get the cheapest room. Do I get a discount? Yes, I get a discount, but I don't get a discount on the cheapest room because I've learned the hard way that the cheapest room is the cheapest room for a reason. Always get based on quality. Always look at the details. Always look at the specs. Always look at the reviews. Always look at the pictures. Always take a few minutes extra to look. Never in so much of a hurry to grab the cheapest thing. I learned the hard way, with accommodations, with transportation, with anything. Whenever you get the cheapest, you get what you pay for. The truth is the truth. And if you can't even afford the cheapest, then don't bother with it. Wait until you can afford it. Okay? And so this particular lady, deep down, even though she had all these wonderful things with her career and great family and friends and everything else, as a part of her deep down, did not want anybody to say no to her. So she felt in her mind, anytime she was presented with the opportunity, she felt that she had to be the lowest bid on the block in her mind. So every time that there was an opportunity that she was asked to estimate or anything like that, she would present an amount, and the minute that somebody hummed and hawed or disagreed or hesitated, then she was ready to buckle. Little did she know that a lot of people, they do that as a way to try to get the price down. They already had the money for the original price in the first place. It was their goal to try to pay less. People had more than enough money to accommodate. Probably were willing to pay even more. But she doesn't know that. Lowballing herself, afraid to accept a no. Sometimes we have to accept a no to get us closer to a better yes. So because of that, she's always having just enough to keep things afloat. Yes, the business thrived. It survived. Made a good income. But compared to other people in the business, could do a little bit better. Considering the certifications and the licensing that she has, she could be making a little bit more money compared to others that have the experience and certifications and licensing that she has. She could have a little bit more. So when confronted with that, she doesn't have any answers. Doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to think about it. The reason why I say this, people, is because you got to think about what you go through. I talk to her sometimes. She gets a little stressed out about, how things are lean and how things get tough. Because, in every single profession, there are times where things get a little slow. In every career, there are slow periods. That's why it's always good to diversify. It's always good to have more than one stream of income no matter what you do. Because when it gets slow in one area, you can pick off in another. This is what I'm going through now. This is what I'm learning to do. So when she goes through her lean areas, every single time she gets in this depressive mode and she's got to move money around from one area to another and she's got to tighten her belt buckle. Okay. But then she gets into a depressive mode and then mood swings and everything else. And that's when the relationships start to break. That's when the employees start to suffer because they got to suffer the backlash of all the mood swings and everything else. And she always loses one or two people. See, that's where the problems come in. You're ruining relationships because you can't get a handle on this. All because you didn't ask what you were worth in the beginning. What's the worst that they can say? No. I was always told you can't miss what you never had. You didn't have the project in the first place. You're just trying to pitch for something that you want. You don't have it in your hand anyway. This is a dollar that you're chasing after. It's not a dollar that you have in your hand. You don't have it yet. And if they say no, you don't miss what you don't already have. So you got to keep that in mind. So if you have certifications and experience and licensure and everything else and you've got opportunities presented to you, be competitive. Don't be outrageous. Do your research. Be competitive. Know your worth. Remember your struggle. Remember what you went through to go through this, but be competitive. Be reasonable.